You know the story, right? It's the oldest one in the book. The little guy up against the giant. David versus Goliath. In the world of business, it feels like a battle that's just unwinnable. But what if the secret weapon wasn't a slingshot? What if it was just a new way of looking at things?
I mean, this is the question. It's what keeps every entrepreneur, every small business owner awake at night. You're up against competitors with bottomless pockets, with household names. How in the world are you supposed to stand a chance? It honestly feels like you're showing up to a tank fight with a water pistol. But what if winning wasn't about matching their firepower at all? What if it was about seeing a golden opportunity that they're all completely blind to? Well, as it turns out, the answer to that very question might just be found right here, hiding in plain sight behind a gas station.
And that brings us to a small business called Nifty Cafe. Its story is, and I mean this, a masterclass in how a simple shift in perspective can let you outsmart even the biggest players in the game.
You know, this quote from Henry David Thoreau just nails the heart of this whole thing. It suggests that there are opportunities all around us that are basically invisible to most people. Real game-changing advantage doesn't come from looking where everybody else is looking. It comes from seeing what they've all missed. So picture this place, a couple of small rooms and a kind of drab building tucked away behind a gas station, a spot that thousands of people drove past every single day without even giving it a second glance. And this wasn't just an uninspiring location, this was a place with a proven track record of failure.
I mean, the history here tells a pretty grim story. First, a local restaurant tried to make a go of it, and it failed. Then a fruit and vegetable shop opened up in the exact same spot, and it went under too. By all conventional wisdom, this location was just cursed until October 2021.
And this is where the breakthrough moment happens. The founder, Sakina Saif, did something totally radical. She completely ignored the ugly, boring front of the building, the part that faced the gas station. Instead, she put all her focus on the one thing everyone else had missed, the back of the building. She knocked down the back wall, built out a balcony, and revealed this absolutely stunning, uninterrupted view of a lush forest. She literally turned the building's biggest weakness into its greatest strength.
And right here, Sakina basically reveals the philosophy that made it all possible. See, it's not about one single flash of brilliance. It's about a constant process of listening, learning, and adapting. Small businesses can't afford to just stand still because their ability to evolve is their superpower.
Okay, so the Nifty Cafe story isn't just some clever one-off trick. It's a perfect illustration of two fundamentally different ways to compete in any market. There's the way of the giant, and there's the way of the underdog.
We can really think of these as two completely different strategies. Something from something versus something from nothing. One relies on overwhelming force, and the other relies on clever insight. Let's dig into the giant strategy first. The something from something strategy is all about leverage. If you're a giant, you use your existing strengths, your money, your brand recognition, your tech, to simply overwhelm the competition. It's really just a brute force attack. The classic example of this is Nike versus Reebok. Back when Reebok started gaining some serious ground, Nike didn't just design a slightly better shoe. No, they invented a whole new, incredibly expensive way to compete. Massive athlete endorsements. They signed Michael Jordan, they sponsored the Dream Team, and they spent so much money that Reebok just couldn't possibly keep up. And just like that, Nike cemented its dominance. That's playing the Goliath game. But what if you don't have Nike's resources? Then you have to play the something from nothing game. And this is the Nifty Cafe strategy. It's not about spending money you don't have, it's about finding advantages that are cheap, or maybe even free, simply because nobody else has even bothered to notice them. It's a strategy of perception. So, how can you actually apply this? What does the playbook for the underdog really look like in practice? It really comes down to these 4 steps. First, finding those hidden assets. Second, creating what we'll call cheap abilities. Third, selling a feeling, not just a product. And fourth, and this is a big one, being relentlessly adaptable. Step 1 is all about looking inward. It's about shifting your focus from what you don't have to what you already have. What advantages do you possess that you're just taking for granted? For Nifty Cafe, it was the forest view out back. For you, it could be a unique skill you have, a deep connection with a certain community, or a piece of knowledge no one else has. It's like a treasure hunt in your own backyard. Step 2 is about building skills that don't need a huge budget. Look, you can't outspend the giants, but you can definitely outmaneuver them. You can be way more responsive to customers, more creative with your solutions, more personal in your interactions.
While the big companies are stuck in meetings and just copying each other, being genuinely imaginative and paying attention to the little details, that can be your secret weapon.
Okay, let's talk about the most powerful weapon in the underdog's entire arsenal. And it all starts with this one number: 90%. Research giant Nielsen found that the vast majority of our buying decisions are driven by subconscious feelings. We're not as logical as we think. People don't just buy a product. They buy what that product represents and how it makes them feel. Nifty Cafe doesn't just sell coffee. It sells a moment of peace, the feeling of a serene escape from the world. This is the key for any underdog. Stop selling features and start selling the feeling.
So when we pull this all together, what's the one big idea you should take away from the story of a small cafe hidden behind a gas station?
It's this: your greatest competitive advantage isn't what you have. It's not your money or your resources. It's what you see. It's the ability to look at the exact same landscape as everyone else and find a path that nobody else has even noticed.
Perhaps the best way to put it is this: if you want to see what others miss, you have to stop looking where everyone else is looking. The giants are all fighting over the same obvious territory. Your greatest opportunity lies in the places they've already dismissed, ignored, or are simply blind to.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. What is your hidden forest view? What is that overlooked asset, that cheap ability, or that hidden feeling right under your nose that could change absolutely everything? Thanks for tuning in.